Welcome to Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. We're assembled here in the Kreitman Plaza for the conferment of honorary doctoral degrees as part of the 44th Annual Board of Governors meeting. We are delighted to be sharing this festive occasion with you. Our ceremony this evening will begin with the academic procession. Kindly rise and remain standing until the procession is concluded, and as is our custom, kindly refrain from applauding until all members of the Presidium have been seated. I'm now pleased to invite the recipients of the Honorary Doctorate. Dr. Linda S. Birnbaum, United States. Mr. James M. Breslauer, United States. Dr. Nachum Guzik, United States. Professor Andrew D. Hamilton, United Kingdom. Mr. Evgeny Kissin, United Kingdom. Professor Sol Friedlander, United States. Dr. Cheryl Saban.
Chairman of the Board of Governors, Chairman of the Executive Committee, Deans, Gabi Ashkenazi, former Chief of Staff of the Israeli Defense Force, distinguished honorees, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. It is my great privilege to welcome you on this lovely evening to our honorary doctorate degree ceremony here at Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. Every year, at the occasion of the Board of Governors, we award honorary doctorates to persons who have distinguished themselves by academic or creative achievements, who have rendered outstanding service to the university, or whose activities have been of notable benefit to the Jewish people, the State of Israel, and to humanity. The individuals we have chosen to honor here this evening have made profound and enduring contributions to academia, to culture, to our university, and they have contributed to improving the quality of life in society in general. The process for choosing these individuals is long and rigorous because we want our recipients to be clearly people of great integrity and extraordinary achievements. After all, the choices we make reflect our own values as an institution. The historical origin of honorary doctorate dates back to the Middle Ages, when for various reasons a university might be persuaded or otherwise see fit to grant exemption from some of all of the usual statutory requirements for the awarding of a degree. By the way, the earliest honorary degree on record was awarded to Lionel Woodville in the late 1470s, but by where else, who knows? The University of Oxford. Well, the first honorary degree to be awarded at a ceremony appears to be those conferred on the 12 people who received the Masters of Arts on September 6th of 1568 on the occasion of the visit of Queen Elizabeth I to Oxford. Well, we do not go back quite this far, and in fact, the first honorary degree from Ben-Gurion University were awarded at a ceremony in 1979. Since then, this particular ceremony at the Board of Governors meeting has always been about celebrating outstanding accomplishments in a variety of fields by an extraordinary group of individuals. Throughout the years, we have had the honor of hosting many great leaders, each in their own spheres. But this evening is also about celebrating and cherishing contribution, not only in terms of financial support, although this is obviously a highly commendable action, but also the giving and sharing of oneself in order to create and build. contributing talent, expertise, and time in order to forge change and to make an impact. A contribution that will matter to individuals, to communities, to nations, and ultimately to the world. In each of their fields, the individuals here tonight, as you will soon realize, have all gone above and beyond and are truly outstanding role models to all of us. In Proverbs 24, 3-4, it says, "Through wisdom is a house built, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge are the chambers filled with all pleasant and precious riches." We are privileged to have with us tonight two distinguished scientists whose contribution to academia would be difficult to match. From the humanities, we have one of the most outstanding scholars of Holocaust studies. From the cultural sphere, a brilliant young pianist, two outstanding philanthropists, and last but not least, a woman whose accomplishments cross academia, philanthropy, and public service. Dear honorees, our mission here at Ben-Gurion University of the Negev is to educate the future decision makers, managers, scientists, scholars, and leaders of Israel. Educated in an environment that encourages critical thinking with social conscience, we are proud of our graduates who go out into the world determined to make a difference. Just as we, as an institution of higher education, envision making a difference and impact in the Negev and in Israel. Your actions and accomplishments are inspiration to all of us here today, and you are perfect role models for our students. We are all both honored and delighted to have you join our family of distinguished honorees, and we look forward to welcoming you all on many future occasions to Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Karmi. I would now like to call on Professor Tzvi HaKohen, Rector of the University, to deliver his message.
Mr. Alex Goren, Chairman of the Board of Governors, Mr. Asher Kheled, Chairman of the Executive Committee, Lieutenant General Gabi Ashkenazi, former Chief of Staff of the IDF, Professor Rivka Karmi, President of the University, members of the Board of Governors, honorees, deans, faculty, students, and guests. It takes excellence in teaching, and especially in research, to reach the highest ranks of world-class universities. There are no shortcuts on this road. Excellence is achieved by taking painstaking steps and making continuous efforts for the recruitment of the most brilliant young scientists and by providing them with the best possible research-supporting environment. It takes real vision to believe that one can start from scratch and create a leading university. As in Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people will perish. Even the best and most talented scientists cannot advance without leadership that is able to focus on the most important issues, identify the most important, promising future directions, set priorities, and put together all the resources needed to reach these goals. Still, a university that resides exclusively in an ivory tower, indifferent to its surroundings, cannot be considered a great university. A really great university must set goals for improving its environment, both social and physical, and using the knowledge it generates to better the life of people and to preserve and enrich their culture. That is why we award each year to a very few distinguished individuals the title of Doctor Honoris Causa. We choose those individuals who have shown leadership and brought about changes, bettering the life of people. We look for those whose personalities and careers make them role models for faculty as well as administration. And we acknowledge those who have been so generous to us, giving us what it takes to build this beautiful campus. Each year, Ben-Gurion University of the Negev is proud to bring in a distinguished few from all over the world and honor them with our most prestigious award in recognition of their contributions to science, culture, and humanity. This ceremony offers us a look at the awardees as role models, as beacons of wisdom whose lights guides us to further accomplishment and excellence. The French poet Voltaire said, "By appreciation we make excellence in others our own property." Indeed, the striving for excellence is what this university is all about. Today's honorees are women and men whose lives and actions inspired us all to do better, to reach higher, and to build a great university, one that would indeed fulfill David Ben-Gurion's dream of Oxford and Yavne on the Tzin. In the last 4 decades, more than 100,000 students received their degrees from BGU, but only a small minority stays to live in the Negev. This is not from lack of vision and commitment. 50% of our students are involved in some kind of voluntary activity, a community activity. The predominant reason has been the shortage of suitable jobs in the region. We are working on this too. The newly established high-tech park adjacent to the university is now populated by many multinational giants like Deutsche Telekom, Nest Technologies, EMC, Lockheed Martin, IBM, and others that will follow. This park and the move of the high-tech units of the IDF to the area will provide the impetus for a drive that will make an everlasting change of the employment map of the Negev. None of it would have been realized if BGU was more of the same university. All universities strive for excellence in research and teaching. BGU, since establishment, had also a national goal, the development of the Negev and all of its people. Whereas other universities focus their efforts on the development of current knowledge to a higher level, scientists at BGU are always looking for potential application of the know-how they develop. Indeed, among all universities in Israel, BGU, the youngest university, raises the highest amount of research money from industrial sources. BGU was established by pioneers, dreamers, and visionaries who truly believed in Ben-Gurion's vision and prophecy concerning the central role the Negev will play in the future of Israel. We seek the association of similar dreamers and visionaries, people of proven excellence like you. By accepting those honorary degrees, you also provide us with the recognition and support that will enable us to keep carrying the torch for years to come. Thank you very much for accepting the title of Doctor Honoris Causa from our Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Cohen. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you Ophir Ben-Shitrit, who will perform Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. Thank you to the very talented Ophir Ben-Shitrit for that beautiful performance. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, we shall now proceed to the conferring of the honorary doctorates. Before each honorary doctorate recipient is called upon, a short film will be presented capturing their achievements. We now proceed with the conferring of the honorary degrees. The university honors Dr. Linda S. Birnbaum.
Hi, my name is Linda Birnbaum. I was born in Passaic, New Jersey, grew up in New Jersey, lived in a number of places in the United States, but have lived in North Carolina for 34 years. I'm currently the director of the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences of the National Institutes of Health of the United States.
Born in Teaneck, New Jersey, Linda grew up with an Israeli blue and white pushka on the kitchen table. The oldest of 4 children, she discovered her love of science in junior high school.
When I was still in junior high school, was trying to understand how thyroid hormone could impact development. And I wrote to some local companies, drug companies, and I said, could they give me thyroid hormone and could they give me rats? So I did an experiment in the basement of our house. I still can't believe that my parents allowed me to have 40 rats in cages in the basement, trying to understand how thyroid hormone affected growth and development. I did win the science prize for the state of New Jersey for this, and I became the New Jersey delegate to the youth conference on the atom.
But science was not her only love.
One of the most important things, I think, growing up for me as a Jewish child was that I went to Jewish summer camp, and that, in fact, is where I met my husband.
3 weeks after she graduated from college, she married her summer camp sweetheart, David Birnbaum. They raised a family while she continued with her education and career in environmental sciences, becoming director of the National Institutes for Environmental Health in 2008.
So as director of the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, which is one of the 27 institutes and centers of the United States National Institutes of Health, I direct a large research program trying to understand how the environment impacts our health. And although I'm director of almost a $750 million research program, I still find the time to have my own laboratory where I'm studying the toxic effects of certain chemicals.
As a mother and grandmother, as well as a scientist, Linda believes that people have to be active about protecting the environment if they wish to ensure the health of future generations.
While some of our environment is local, most of our environment is global. The environmental contamination that occurs in China reaches the west coast of the United States within 4 days. We know that environmental contamination that occurs in one country or in one city affects other cities and the rest of the world. By understanding how the environment can impact health, I think we have the opportunity to improve the health not only of people in the United States, not only the health of the people in Israel, but the health of people around the world.
I now call upon Dr. Linda S. Birnbaum to please rise and approach the center of the podium. I invite the president of the university and the rector to rise and join the honoree. The scroll reads, "The Senate and the Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Dr. Linda S. Birnbaum in appreciation of an eminent scientist who devotes her life to protecting public health and the environment. with deep esteem for the first woman to serve as director of the U.S. National Institute for Environmental Health Sciences of the National Institutes of Health and the National Toxicology Program Division. In honor of a toxicologist whose work combines multidisciplinary research in the field and the laboratory to trace the dangers of toxic chemicals and their effect on human health, and to disseminate this information for the benefit of the community. In acknowledgement of an academician who devotes her time to nurturing the next generation of researchers, with gratitude for her long-term activities on behalf of biomedical research aimed at preventing and treating diseases influenced by exogenic factors, and increasing safety regarding the use and trade of dangerous materials. And in recognition of her efforts to enhance awareness of the struggle for improving human health, ensuring a better life and cleaner environment for generations to come, by conferring upon her the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. The rector will confer the hood, and the president will present the scroll. The university now honors James M. Breslauer.
Good evening. My name is Jim Breslauer. I was born almost 75 years ago in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but I currently live in Long Beach, California with my wife, Liz.
Jim grew up in Milwaukee, the youngest of 3 brothers. Though he worked at different jobs while growing up, it was at university that he found his voice.
I went to college at the University of Florida, and it's there that I got into radio and TV. People have said I have a big mouth, but my training in radio and TV was a love, and I really enjoyed it. When I graduated college, I went into the Air Force. There I wanted to be an Armed Forces radio. But this major sitting across the table from me said, "The exigency of the service dictates that you will be a procurement officer." So I quickly ran home, looked up the word exigency, and there I was. It said, "Breslauer, you're going to be a procurement officer." And that's how I got into my career in manufacturing, into materials management and procurement. And that's also what really got me involved with the Advanced Technology Park here at Ben-Gurion University.
The BGU connection began with his Aunt Helen and Uncle Sam Soref.
I was invited to Ben-Gurion University for the dedication of the Soref School of Mechanical Engineering. I thought, wow, this place is amazing. I can learn here, and the students, I mean, talking to the students here at the university to me is one of the greatest pleasures. They're smart, they're mature, they can carry on a conversation. I found this very stimulating. As my brothers got more involved in the university, I got more involved in the university.
And Jim is not alone in his endeavor.
I'm fortunate to have a team here in the family with this foundation. My partner in life, Liz, she's been part of it since the day I became responsible for our portion of the Soref Foundation. We have 2 children, our son Frank and daughter Shawnee. They are also involved in their own way.
And Jim takes great pride in BGU's success.
I'm proud to be part of the Ben-Gurion family, to be part of the vision of David Ben-Gurion in growing the Negev. There's many ways to do it. Started with the Advanced Technology Park. Now we're working on the pedestrian bridge. The university is growing like mad. I mean, look at the North Campus project. We're going to more than double the size of Ben-Gurion University. As we get older, and as I am so happy to be involved in this magnificent project and to work with so many people, everybody wants to make a difference in life. This is my difference. This is something that I can leave behind for the benefit of the State of Israel, for the benefit of Ben-Gurion University, and for the benefit of so many students and so many workers that I will never know for generations to come.
I now call upon James M. Breslauer to please rise and approach the center of the podium. And I would ask the President and the Rector to join him. The Senate and the Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor James M. Breslauer in recognition of a man of action who has contributed his numerous talents and rich experience from industry and sales to the world of community involvement and to the advancement of the strength and prosperity of the Jewish people and the State of Israel. With deep esteem for a man who dedicates his efforts to promote pressing goals such as accessible housing, higher education, and pluralistic Jewish identity. In acknowledgement of his stalwart support of the university through his participation in the Soreh Foundation and his extensive involvement in the American Associates Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. And in appreciation of a man of great foresight, a committed partner in making the Negev bloom, who understands the area's need for sustainable engines of economic growth, and took the lead from the outset in promoting the building of the Advanced Technologies Park that is turning the Negev into a thriving region for the benefit of its residents and the State of Israel as a whole, by conferring upon him the degree of Dr. Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. The university now honors Dr. Nahum Guzik.
Hello, I am Nahum Guzik. I born in Russia. I went to Israel, and after that I went to United States, and here we're United States in Guzik Technical Enterprises, and located in Mountain View, next town to Palo Alto.
Nahum Guzik was 7 years old when his father, a well-known designer, was sent to the army.
I identify myself with grandmother the most. She brought me up, so my father was in the army, but was grandmother and mother and my younger sister. And I was 8 years old, and sometimes I used to go on the street and beg for food, and so just it was hunger, but I was never hungry. I don't remember myself be hungry and to be bitter because I'm hungry.
Hard times growing up made him determined to work hard and get ahead. By the time he was 20, he already had a college degree in engineering and was working throughout Russia. But this success was not enough.
In 1972, I went to Israel. It just not simply went to Israel. I paid some ransom, 16,000 rubles. It's about 10 years salary to Russian government to let me to give up Russian citizenship. It was dream to get out of Russia, and then I went in search of Jewish identity. I was more Jewish in Russia than in Israel because everybody was a Jew there.
Nachum's industriousness brought him to the United States, where he built a successful high-tech enterprise.
Now I work in disk drive industry, and we're making test equipment. And they can do measure, they can do research, and I consider engineering task of any engineer to do away with mystery and get some data they can deal with and can progress and move ahead with science.
He never forgot his past, his Jewish roots, and his love of Israel.
If not in Israel, and I might never leave Russia. And my life will be completely different. And I think I owe Israel. In my circumstance, I have to do it. If I don't do it, I don't feel comfortable with myself. And the way I see it, it goes to good causes and help Israel. And I don't believe I add something that's whatever to greatness of university. And I donate them because they are great, not me.
The Senate and the Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Nachum Guzik in recognition of a highly active philanthropist, a successful businessman who has generously contributed to noble causes worldwide. In acknowledgement of an entrepreneur and director who made his way from Odessa, Ukraine, to the United States via Israel and founded a lucrative, cutting-edge high-tech company in Silicon Valley. With esteem for a proud philanthropic activist in the Jewish community of Northern California, who has blessed many organizations and talented young musicians with generosity, and for whom giving has become central to his life. In appreciation of a benevolent and devoted supporter for his commitment to the advancement of higher education and research in Israel in general and the Negev in particular, for leaving a significant mark on the Ben-Gurion University campus through buildings and the antiquities pathway that bear his name, and with profound gratitude to a member of the Ben-Gurion Society for his numerous activities on behalf of the students and the entire community, and for his friendship and partnership with the university stemming from sincere devotion and altruism, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. The university honors Professor Andrew D. Hamilton.
My name's Andrew Hamilton. I'm the Vice-Chancellor of Oxford University and also a Professor of Chemistry in the Chemistry Department here.
Andrew grew up in a small town south of London. He studied at the University of Exeter, where he discovered his love for chemistry.
My love of chemistry actually came quite late in life. I wasn't one of those children who spent a lot of time with chemistry sets and making smells and bangs in the family basement. I actually spent a lot of my childhood obsessing about and playing a lot of sports and rugby and cricket. But late on as an undergraduate, I began to see special beauty in the subject of organic chemistry and also the potential for using one's imagination and creativity in the subject to develop and understand new molecules. That was something that I really started that started to affect me as an undergraduate.
Accompanied by his wife Jennifer, Andrew packed his bags and started a magnificent journey following his academic career, a journey that took them to British Columbia, Cambridge, Strasbourg, Princeton, and Yale, where he also served as provost. And in 2008, Oxford University nominated Hamilton to be Vice-Chancellor. He and Jennifer left their 3 grown-up children in the United States and packed their bags once again, moving to Oxford. But Andrew had some conditions before taking the position.
I insisted that while I do this role, that I also continue my research. And for me, that has been a very important step because it allows me not only to keep current in my subject, but most importantly, it keeps me in contact with students, with young people, with the reason I became a professor in the first place, which is a love of teaching and teaching through research.
Andrew's work brought him into contact with scientists from around the world, including Israel.
As we seek to find answers to scientific problems, we collaborate with colleagues around the world. And I'm delighted to say that throughout my career, I have had wonderful friendships, wonderful collaborations and interactions with chemists in Israel. And I'm delighted to say I've also had outstanding Israeli students come and work with me in my laboratory. I've had a sense from them of just how strong and how rigorous Israeli education is.
Andrew believes in the power of chemistry to solve many of the world's most pressing problems.
When I think about the power of chemistry to treat human disease, to perhaps develop new methods for energy production through efficient photovoltaic cells or myriad of other things, that there is a potential, there is a power for chemistry to be part of the solution. By no means all of the solution. Many other academic subjects and clinical research subjects have to come into play. But for me, chemistry is a core part of those solutions.
I now call upon Professor Andrew D. Hamilton to please come forward. The Senate and the Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Professor Andrew D. Hamilton in appreciation of an academic whose vision and leadership have impacted some of the world's most prestigious universities, in recognition of the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Oxford, who is uncompromising in his pursuit of excellence and combines scientific knowledge with exceptional management skills to promote higher education and research. With esteem for a brilliant researcher in the fields of organic chemistry and biology, a Fellow of the Royal Society, a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, and the recipient of major international awards, who nurtured a new generation of students. And in acknowledgement of his partnership with Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, marking a groundbreaking collaboration between Israeli academia and the University of Oxford, and testimony to the importance of academic ties as a bridge between peoples and cultures, and as an important step in the path towards peace in the region, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. We shall now have a musical interlude, and we will hear Shimon Buskila's Shir HaTikva, Song of Hope, as performed once again by Ophir Ben-Shitrit.
היום הזה הוא התחלה, בדף חדש אתה נוגע. ביום הזה תישא תפילה, תדע שיש מי ששומע. אל תוותר מיד, ויש לך מרחק ללכת. אל תוותר מיד, אם לא עכשיו אולי עוד שנה. היום הזה הוא התחלה, תחשוב אתה יכול אחרת, והתשובה לשאלה בתוכך היא מסתתרת. אל תפחד עכשיו, כי לא עבדה לך הדרך. אל תפחד עכשיו, אם לא היום אולי עוד שנה. עולם מוזר כולו שלך, כשהתקווה בלב בוערת. יש בדידות, יש כאב, והתקווה איתך נשארת. אל תאבד אותה, תשמור עליה. ומה יהיה מחר, אין איש יודע. ביום הזה אתה ראשון, בעצמך אתה בחרת. ביום הזה הניצחון, ועצם זה שלא ויתרת. אל תתייאש עכשיו, האמונה אותך שומרת. אל תתייאש עכשיו, כי לא הלכה עברה לה עוד שנה. עולם מוזר כולו שלך, כשהתקווה בלב בוערת. יש בדידות, יש כאב, והתקווה איתך נשארת. אל תאבד אותה, תשמור עליה. ומה יהיה מחר, עולם מוזר כולו שלך, כשהתקווה בלב בוערת. יש בדידות, יש כאב, והתקווה איתך נשארת. אל תאבד אותה, תשמור עליה. ומה יהיה מחר, אין איש יודע.
We now continue with the conferment of the honorary doctorates. The university honors Mr. Evgeny Kisin.
Evgeny Kisin, child prodigy, acclaimed pianist, born in Russia, lives in London, and is now an Israeli citizen. Evgeny began playing the piano by ear at the age of 2. At 11, he gave his first solo recital in Moscow. 1 year later, he came to international attention when he played with the Moscow State Philharmonic. Evgeny's natural talents were shaped by his unbounded passion for music. Today, he's one of the world's greatest living pianists, performing around the world. But Evgeny never forgets his love for his family and friends, and his love of poetry and the Yiddish language. His art is rooted in the lyrical sound of his grandparents' Yiddish, his Jewish identity tangled together with his performance.
If I forget thee, Jerusalem, let my hand wither. These words have been on the lips of our ancestors all over the world for thousands of years, and now, wherever we Jews live, our thoughts, hopes, and prayers are always with Israel and with our ancient and holy capital, Jerusalem.
Evgeny's love for Israel led him to become an Israeli citizen. Today, when he performs anywhere in the world, he serves as an Israeli ambassador and a bridge for peace.
Anu moshitim yad shalom v'shchenut tova lechol hamedinot hashchenot ve'ameihen. We extend our hand to all neighboring countries and their peoples in an offer of peace and good neighborliness, proclaimed Israel's founding fathers in its Declaration of Independence.
I now call upon Mr. Evgeny Kissin to please rise and approach the center of the podium. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Evgeny Kissin in acknowledgement of an outstanding musician, one of the leading pianists of our times, who is endowed with a warm Jewish heart. In recognition of a child prodigy who began to play at the age of 2 and at 10 launched a meteoric career performing with the world's leading orchestras under the greatest conductors from a very young age. With esteem for an artist who interprets classical masterpieces with great depth and whose musical sensitivity has touched the hearts of millions worldwide. In profound appreciation of a gifted pianist who, despite having received international acclaim for his performances and recordings, continues to reinvent himself. And in honor of an ardent Zionist, an Israeli citizen by choice, who supports the state and contributes to the advancement of music in Israel in the belief that it has the power to unite and enrich listeners and elevate the spirit of humankind, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. The university now honors Professor Saul Friedlander.
Hi, my name is Saul Friedlander. I'm 81 years old. I was born in Prague in 1932, and for many years now I am a professor of history at UCLA, now retired.
Saul Friedlander's parents left for France in 1939. When the German occupation began, he was hidden in a Catholic monastery. His parents were arrested while trying to reach Switzerland and were murdered in Auschwitz. In 1948, Friedlander arrived in Israel on the Altalena and joined the Israeli army. In 1953, he left for Paris to study political science.
Within political science, I wrote history, actually. History of international relations, but really history which I directed more and more to the Nazi period, without being completely aware that I was reliving my past through my work, until I decided to write a book on Pope Pius XII in 1964. And that really brought me back to, let's say, my Catholic education, my Catholic life during the war. And from then on, more and more consciously, I worked on the Nazi period until very recently, when I finished the 2 volumes of the history of the Shoah, of the Holocaust.
Saul has taught at universities in Israel and around the world, while writing a number of award-winning books on the historical significance of the Holocaust.
My work is really essentially historical. I tried to integrate the memory of the victims into a historiography which was essentially focusing on the perpetrators and sometimes on the collaborators. I tried to write an integrated history of the Shoah, and not with any message for the future. And my dream is that people will take from this work, from this memory, from what they know about these events, the direction leading to compassion, to understanding of the suffering of others, to the will to live peacefully with others. And everybody understands that I'm alluding to our own position, to our own situation as Jews and as Israelis.
I call upon Professor Saul Friedlander to please rise. The Senate and the Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Professor Saul Friedlander in recognition of one of the foremost researchers of the history of the Holocaust, for his notable contribution in elucidating the enigma of the Jewish people's survival in our age. In honor of the child of parents who were murdered at Auschwitz and who survived the war years in a Catholic monastery but decided to reclaim his Jewish identity and became a sharp observer of Nazi Germany and its treatment of the Jews. In acknowledgement of an uncompromising historian who with rare intellectual courage connects between biography and history and the fate of the individual and that of a people. In appreciation of a scholar who fearlessly probes both the murderers and those who opposed them, including the Catholic Church and its leadership during the Second World War. With deep esteem for a laureate of the Israel Prize and Pulitzer Prize, among many other awards, and in recognition of the integrity and sensitivity with which he has documented the darkest moments of the Jewish people and his efforts in preserving memory so that society will learn from history and advance universal values of a free and just society, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. university honors Dr. Cheryl Saban.
Hello, I'm Cheryl Saban. I was born in San Diego, California. Now I live in Los Angeles. I'm a writer, an artist, a psychologist, and a philanthropist.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Cheryl Saban, vibrant and caring, grew up as the middle child in a modest home. Her parents played an important role in shaping her essential philosophy of life. Be passionate, respect your friends and family, and use the tools that you were given. That is the key to success.
I've been writing for many years, most of them about social issues, about parenting, about family, about women. But I'm always doing something. I blow glass. I got very energetic about this about 4 years ago. I also love to kayak. At 50, I got a PhD in psychology. This was a great challenge. And family is all important. I have 4 children and 4 grandchildren and a husband that I'm madly in love with. And I'm blessed to still have my parents. And I had the great joy to know my mother-in-law until she was 102. And she was magical for me.
Cheryl has always stayed true to herself, working to empower women and girls. It is this lifelong work that led US President Barack Obama to nominate her as a public delegate to the United Nations.
When I was quite young, I was sexually assaulted. So I know from personal experience how devastating this kind of violence can be. So when I spent 3.5 months in New York at the UN and was able to meet with heads of state and representatives from 193 countries from all over the globe, I felt really good about the choice I've made in terms of helping women. And this is definitely something I will continue to do.
With deep connections to Israel, one day Cheryl arrived in the Negev.
Ben-Gurion University is at the heart of everything that's going on in the Negev. I'm connected to Soroka and the pediatric hospital and the maternity hospital. When I first came here to look at the pediatric hospital, honestly, I was amazed at what was going on here. The doctors who are stellar and giving their time and coming all the way out here are devoted, obviously, to the kids. The facility was falling apart. I was impressed that they still had a little classroom where the kids who were well enough to come down and study were getting their classwork done. So I couldn't walk away and not help. And that was the beginning of a long-term relationship. Now I look at the campus and I'm really proud to have our name associated with all of these amazing facilities. And my ability to give is going to continue for the rest of my life. But I really think that when one person is giving, it's like putting a stone in a pond. It's a ripple that continues out. It's infectious, and it's actually contagious in a good way. It spreads the news. It gets people going. It shares excitement, and other people get inspired to do the same thing. We've seen it happen. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
I now call upon Dr. Cheryl Saban to please rise and approach the center of the podium. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Cheryl Saban in appreciation of her generous and resourceful initiatives that relentlessly strive to advance the rights of women and children and to bestow education and health upon every person. in acknowledgement of a woman of vision, a founder of the Cheryl Saban Self-Worth Foundation for Women and Girls, for her commitment to the empowerment and strengthening of girls and women, and for her extensive activities on behalf of numerous non-profit organizations which cross all boundaries and sectors. With deep respect for a psychologist and prolific author whose books guide readers through her inspirational life experience. With esteem for the president of the Saban Family Foundation, for her devotion to promoting educational programs and medical centers, including those for children and women at the Soroka University Medical Center. And in recognition of her activities on behalf of the community that have contributed so much to the development and upgrading of health services in outlying areas, thus bringing relief and a better future to all residents of the Negev. By conferring upon her the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.